Alrighty. So basically, Patrick asked me to just give a general overview about Azamara, what makes us unique and special. And I won't be going into other itineraries or anything of that nature. So the intent of this presentation basically is to familiarize you with the onboard experience on Azamara and what really makes us stand out. So before I do that, I just want to give you a brief Azamara history. There was a cruise line called Renaissance Cruise Lines. They had eight beautiful ships. They sailed around the world. They, however, were not fiscally responsible, and after 9/11, they went bankrupt. So these ships sat empty at shipyards around the world for several years. And in 2007, our parent company at that time, which was Royal Caribbean Group, actually purchased two of the ships. And these two ships were originally going to join Celebrity. However, the decision was made at the 11th hour to create a standalone brand because they were so unique and special compared to what Celebrity had at that time. And Azamara was born in 2007. Um, Fast forward to 2018, we were able to get our third ship, another Renaissance cruise ship. And then COVID happened at the beginning of 2020, and Royal Caribbean basically needed cash. So they actually sold us to a private equity firm out of New York. And at first, I was very apprehensive of the sale, but within shortly thereafter, it was announced that this private equity firm was actually purchasing our fourth ship. So I became very optimistic about the outlook for Azamara because they're very committed to growing our brand. So just to put things in perspective, it took us 11 years under Royal Caribbean to get a third ship and 1 week under our new ownerships to get a fourth ship. And the fourth ship, which is now the Azamara Onward, was a former Renaissance cruise ship. So that kind of gives you an overview of the history of Azamara. So really what makes us unique and different is what we call destination immersion. And that simply means we've carefully crafted these incredible itineraries focusing on the ports of call. And what you're going to find when you look at an Azamara itinerary is more ports of call, more time in port, and more late night and overnight stays. And that really is the secret sauce to Azamara. Because as we all know, so many of these incredible destinations transform from daytime to nighttime. And being there after dark, you get a whole different perspective. So I like to refer to Azamara as really kind of the closest cruise experience to a land tour. So think about Azamara as a land operator being served by your floating boutique hotel. All of our ships are identical. There's 700 guests, 30,000 tons. We have 408 crew members, so our staff to guest ratios for every staff member, 1.7 guests. But more importantly, 65% of the ports of call that we go to, you would never be able to go there on a larger vessel because they can't fit. So that opens up so many more incredible destinations around the world. And then over 45% of the days that we're sailing will feature an overnight stay or a late night stay. And I love this slide. This kind of hits home. This compares Azamara to our competitive set. And you can look at the first column, percentage of port days. We beat our competitive set. Now, granted, they're really not that far behind us. But where we greatly surpass our competitive set is going to be on the far right column, the percentage of late nights and overnight stays. And as you can see here, again, 45% of the days that we're out there feature an overnight or late night stay. And you can safely state to your clients, Azamara really has the most immersive itineraries out there. You all are the value interpreter to your clients. So it is really important for you to understand the inclusion so your guests understand that price value relationship. We're really in a tremendous value. So included in the cost of the cruise is going to be number one, your gratuities. Number two, your beverages. And by beverages, that means standard hard spirits, a selection of wines by the glass, selection of beer, bottled water, soft drinks, cappuccinos, and lattes. And my friends, that's anytime the bars are open. We also include our Amazing Evening event, which is more than a shore excursion. It truly is an authentic cultural event at one of the destinations we overnight in, or we have a late night departure. And each voyage is unique and different. So each voyage will have its own unique Amazing Evening event. And then we also offer complimentary self-service laundry. And why I want to call that out is because many of our cruises tend to be longer, and guests don't have to pack another suitcase and incur the additional baggage fee. They can do their own laundry on board as well. People often ask, who is the Azamara customer? Well, it really is a combination of psychographics and demographics. So, demographically speaking, the majority of our guests are 45 and older, and our sweet spot are baby boomers. Over 66% of our guests are married. Over 80% book with a travel advisor. The majority of our guests are either close to retirement or retired, and the average booking window is 9.5 months out. Now, psychographically speaking, these are people that want to have a much more immersive experience. They want to take a deeper dive into the destinations. They want to connect. They want to connect with the history, connect with the people, connect with the culture, and connect with the culinary. And they've chosen Azamara as a result of that. So, who can you target? Low hanging fruit are going to be river cruisers. People love river cruising because it's smaller and more intimate, and you're up close and personal with the destinations. Azamara offers a similar experience along the coastal regions. I like to refer to Azamara as the ocean line version of a river cruise experience. People who have never cruised before, who have done land tours, again, think of Azamara as a land operator being served by a floating boutique hotel. And again, people that are looking for a more immersive experience. Ask this one question to your customers. Would you like to spend more time in port? I can safely state that probably 95%, if not more, of the time, people are going to say absolutely. And that is a great segue to talk about Azamara. I talked about the Amazing Evening events, and because each of our voyages are unique and different, here's just a beautiful example of one of the Amazing Evening events. This photograph was taken in Ephesus. The port of call for Ephesus is Kuşadası, Turkey. Ephesus is insanely crowded during the daytime. It is closed to the public at night. And so, how we operate this Amazing Evening is our guests will have an early dinner on the ship. They'll disembark the ship. We'll have motor coaches waiting for all 700 guests. They'll take that 15, 20-minute motor coach ride over to the entrance to Ephesus. They come out, unlock the gates for the Azamara guests. You're able to meander through Ephesus in the evening without contending with thousands of other tourists. They're greeted with beverages and hors d'oeuvres. And then what we've done is a classical concert under the stars in the Odeon, which is the Roman amphitheater built in the 1st century. I do not know what the Amazing Evenings will be for the voyages in 2026. Those probably will not be announced until probably 6 months prior to departure. So I would say sometime either the end of 2025 or the beginning of 2026 is when those will be determined. The other thing that we do on all of our voyages is our white night party. And this is really quite special. So if you do sell Azamara, please remind your guests to pack a white outfit. What we do is we remove all the deck furniture. We set up tables and chairs. We dress everything out in white tablecloths, white draping, white balloons. And we set up an incredible buffet. Our officers actually will serve the food. We serve lobster, rack of lamb, sushi, crepe Suzette. And our singers and dancers and orchestra play, and it turns into beautiful deck party with people feasting and then dancing under the stars. Truly not to be missed. So for those of you who've never been on our ships, I'm just going to walk you through some of the interior slides. This is the grand staircase right in the center of the ship. The one thing that's really quite striking is when you board our ships, you really feel like you're walking into a luxurious boutique hotel. The decor is very light, very contemporary, and very organic. All of our ships have been redone, and so they really do look spectacular. Now, moving to the stateroom accommodations, the way these ships were built, 90% of the rooms are exterior facing, and approximately 90% of those have balconies. So our most common stateroom is going to be the veranda staterooms. They are 175 square feet of interior space with a 40 square foot balcony. There is plenty of drawer space, plenty of storage space, and plenty of hanging space for 2 people. Now, when you move up to our suite accommodations, your guests are going to get more inclusions. And probably two of the most, in my personal opinion, two of the most important inclusions is number one, they're going to get their own personal butler who will truly spoil them. And probably the best benefit is unlimited specialty dining in our specialty dining rooms at no surcharge. Otherwise, it is a $50 per person surcharge for specialty dining. And then here's just a couple more of our suite accommodations. These are our spa suites. We have two of them on all of our vessels. They're in a private corridor adjacent to the spa. And you have this beautiful spa bathroom as well. And then this is our Club Continent suite. This is our entry level suite. I would equate this to the size of a standard hotel room. And this is where you begin to get the suite benefits. Now, dining on Azamara is country club casual attire, no dress up, no formal nights. In the main dining room discoveries, it is open seating, so you can eat when you want and with whom you want. The food and cuisine is exquisite, and we are able to accommodate anybody with dietary restrictions. So that's just another thing to be aware of. If you're gluten free, if you're vegan, nut allergies, anything of that nature, we will be able to accommodate our guests. We have two specialty dining rooms, a steakhouse, and an Italian restaurant. Now, those are reservations only. Right, currently, you are unable to make the reservations in advance. You do need to make the reservations when you first board the ship. If you're in a suite, they are complimentary. Otherwise, it is a $50 per person surcharge. Now, I want to put things in perspective. Going to our steakhouse is like going to Morton's or Ruth Chris. It's that type of caliber. And there's no way in heck you're going to be able to walk away from either of those two restaurants at $50 a person. And then we have several casual dining venues as well, along with 24-hour room service. So I can assure you, you will not go hungry on an Azamara cruise. And for a ship our size, we really have incredible entertainment. We have our own singers and dancers. We have our own orchestra. We have our own production show. If we don't have a production show going on, we're going to have a guest performer. We're going to have the Amazing Evening event, or we're going to have the White Night Party. But here is where we differ, and I really want to stress this. Quite often, we are in port at night. And when you're on a traditional cruise, you're on the ship every evening. So it's very important to you, the programming on the ship. That's where we differ, because quite often, if we're in port at night, and if you're like me, I'm going to be enjoying myself off the ship and taking in the destination that I'm at in the evening. So you don't have to be as reliant on the programming as you would on other cruises. We have a full service fitness center. We have a full service spa with all the spa menu items you can desire. And then I talked about our iconic evening events as well. And then here we are for 2026. We have 3 cruises that will be coinciding with the solar eclipse in Europe. So the first cruise, you'll be seeing the solar eclipse off the coast of Spain. And the second cruise will be off the coast of Ireland. And the third cruise, which is from Reykjavik to Montreal, going to Greenland, you will be seeing the solar eclipse off the coast of Iceland. And here are the itineraries. And that I'm going to stop sharing so I can